Hi guys, this is Sliver here, and today we're going to do a 1-hour test farm of my new favorite Season 9 farming spot, the Infinite Strongroom farm. In case you're not familiar, in the Infinite Strongroom farm, we basically have an unlimited number of Horadric Strongrooms back to back to back infinitely without having to have a Nightmare Dungeon sigil for them, and this enables us to get the loot constantly from the Strongrooms instead of having to run Nightmare Dungeons before them. I will discuss how the farm works a little bit later, but first a few words about this 1-hour farm that we're looking at now. We're going to count the number of ancestral legendaries that we find during this 1 hour, hence my inventory is empty at the beginning. Also, we're going to count the number of escalation nightmare sigils. I am pretty sure that this farm is the best for escalating nightmare sigils. And lastly, we're going to count the number of Obducite that we farm during this run. Currently, at the beginning, I have 20 or something Obducite, so basically 0. So a few words about this farm. In order to run this, you have to have the Embers Yet Smolder quest, which is a seasonal quest, so you cannot have completed the seasonal quest line with your character. If you did, then you have to start a new character in order for this farm to work. So if you have a character who hasn't done the seasonal quest line yet, then it's pretty easy to get here. All you have to do is progress the seasonal quest line until this specific step of the Embers Yet Smolder quest, and then never complete it. This way, the Horadric Strongroom that we're going to enter is going to stay open forever and be repeatable forever. Keep in mind that this part of the quest is close to the beginning of the seasonal quest line. So if you've started the quest line, you are likely to have completed this step. In that case, unfortunately, you will have to start a new character. Anyway, we have started the run, and through the magic of editing, I've already got a timer up. So in this first run, I'm going to show everything that happens so you can better do it yourself. So we entered this quest dungeon inside the keep, and inside the keep there's always a Horadric Strongroom. You might have to run around a little bit to find it, but this dungeon is really small, so it shouldn't be a problem to find it. We are running on Torment 4 with a fairly powerful Hydra Sorcerer, but obviously this works on lower Torment levels with less loot. You do have to be a little bit tanky for this first part, especially in Torment 4, because we have these skeleton bow construct thingies that can shoot you from off screen, and they do a lot of damage. So in order to run through these mobs, you need to have a little bit of health in order to survive them. And we've already found the Horadric Strongroom and entered the portal. Spoiler, one run of a Horadric Strongroom, including the finding of the Strongroom and everything else, will take less than 5 minutes. So if we are lucky, we will be able to have 20 or more runs during this 1-hour farm. Fortunately, at this point, our character is strong enough to not have to care about which pillars we choose. At a certain point of character progression, we become just too strong to care about the pillars, and we can just steamroll the whole Horadric Strongroom. So at this point, it's enough for us to just do the basic Strongroom loop, which involves activating the pillars and activating the shrines after, and this is enough with our kill speed to complete the timer very comfortably. I think for most of these runs I will have more than 30 seconds remaining on the timer when we summon the final boss, and the final boss is a cakewalk too. I am planning to make a video about which pillars to choose if your character is not as strong as this one, where the choice actually matters. As you can see, we're only 3 minutes into this run, but the progression is almost complete, and we are approaching a very crucial part of the run. So far we just found the Horadric Strongroom and completed it, but now that we killed the boss and opened the chest, all we have to do is loot everything inside this chest, such as the pretty high amount of Obducite we're getting, or the ancestral legendaries, or the escalation sigils. So we want to pick up all of them except the quest item. So we cannot pick up the quest item that was just on the floor, because that would progress our quest line and we wouldn't be able to re-enter this room. So without picking up the quest item, we left the room with the portal and then we teleported out of the dungeon. Unfortunately, we cannot immediately teleport out from the Strongroom. We have to use the portal. And once we are outside of the dungeon too, so not just outside of the Strongroom, but outside of the dungeon too, next we can reset the dungeon and we can re-enter the dungeon. This way, without using any nightmare sigils, we are going to re-enter the dungeon, we're going to find the Horadric Strongroom, and we're going to do it again. As you can see by looking at the timer, this one run took way less than 5 minutes, so you can easily complete 5 minutes in Torment 4 difficulty if you have a strong enough character for that. You wouldn't be able to do this with the traditional method. So now we have jumped in time ahead to the second boss kill and the second opening of the chest, and I would like to talk about the loot a little bit. So here you can expect a lot of loot, including ancestral legendary items, including a lot of Obducite, and including the escalation nightmare sigils. I am pretty sure that this farm is the best, hands down, for farming escalation nightmare sigils, and in order to maximize your gain of those sigils, you should put your seasonal smoldering ashes in that jar that increases the chances further. In addition to that, a decent amount of Obducite is also dropped this run. In Torment 4 difficulty, I would get more than 2000 Obducite each run, so more than 2000 Obducite per 5 minutes. I would say that is definitely a decent number. I haven't tested it, but I think this is better than Nightmare Dungeons, and it might be comparable what you would get in the Helltides, but in order to get into the Helltide, you need a compass, which doesn't come free. Of course, compasses are dropped by Belial, so they're not very rare. But because of this farm existing, I actually haven't done the seasonal questline on most of my characters, so that this farm remains an option for all of them. I definitely prefer this farm for Obducite instead of Helltide, because this is brand new content instead of the boring old Helltide that we have had for multiple seasons now. In the meantime, we are constantly jumping ahead in time. I'm just showing you the chest openings, so you have a good idea of what you can expect at Torment 4 difficulty from these chests. I'm not going to show all of the chest openings, but at the end I'm going to show you the result of the farm, and then based on that you can decide whether you want to farm this or not. I suspect that most of you would have to create a new character to farm this, because I think that most people have already done this early part of the seasonal questline, so it is a decently big decision and time investment. However, you don't have to start from scratch, so you can create a new character with the same class as your main character and then transfer the gear of the main character towards the new character, and then all you have to do is level up the new character instead of doing the full progression again. And leveling up is really easy if you can just get boosted in a pit or something. Now, going back to the run, I think that the most difficult part of the run is not picking up the quest item. I would again emphasize that you cannot pick that up, and it's very easy to accidentally pick it up and then all of a sudden your character is locked out of the farm. I'm not saying it happened to me, but it almost happened to me, especially if you're watching a series or something while you are farming. But this is the final run. I believe we did around 14 runs during this 1 hour session, and we're approaching the end of the final run. And we're going to go through the loot that we acquired during this time, so you can better tell whether you want to pursue this kind of farm or not. So first of all, we managed to get only one ancestral legendary with 2 greater affixes, which is not very good. 22 ancestral legendaries with 1 greater affix. So altogether we got 23 ancestrals, 1 with 2 greater affixes and the rest with 1 greater affix. Currently we would have to compare this to a pit farm. I would say that if you farmed the pit for 1 hour and you did 2-minute runs or something like that, you would get a similar amount of ancestral legendaries. In terms of escalating Nightmare Dungeon sigils, we were able to get a total of 9 of them, and since these escalation sigils only come from the Horadric Strongrooms, this is the only way to acquire them. This is definitely the best way to farm these. And lastly, we're looking at the Obducite. So I mentioned at the beginning that we started at 0 Obducite, and currently we have 39,000. So on this 1 hour, we were able to get more than 39,000 of Obducite. I don't have the exact numbers, but I would say that this is better than simply Nightmare Dungeons, and a little bit worse than the Hell Tides, and much worse than the Kurast Undercity. However, you do need the tributes to get into Kurast Undercity, which are not free at all. So overall, I do very much enjoy this farm. I think it shows off the seasonal new features very well, and I hope you liked it too. If you enjoyed the video, then feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks!